folks, thanks for tuning in. Hope y'all doing okay today. So, I gotta be careful here with what I want to talk about. I don't want to give away any names, and also I don't want my video to get pulled off of YouTube for obvious reasons. But someone that I know, and you can see this guy occasionally, has kind of lost his mind when it comes to COVID. Now, prefacing all this, I think that COVID is a real disease. I think that people are dying from it. I think that the vaccines, even in the face of Delta and Omicron, were and are a good thing to have, just to minimize the risk of hospitalization, serious long-term difficulties, and death. Now, that said, there is such a thing as natural immunity. This guy I know wears his face mask all the times that you would say he should. As far as, like, you know, goes to work, wears the face mask, goes in large public gatherings, wears the face mask, so on and so on. Vaccinated, and he had a breakthrough case fairly recently of either Delta or Omicron. He, did his 2-week quarantine, getting over it, comes back out into civilization, and he and I are around each other again in a public setting, so he's masked, and a lot of the people around us are masked. But it was kind of funny to see, because, like, okay, I forget the numbers, but, like, and I don't even know how to quantify it, but, like, okay, if you never had COVID and you get the vaccine, you were at, a certain undetermined amount of immunity against Delta and Omicron. Or I don't know how to quantify it, but, like, there's a certain immunity against it, and definitely huge protection against serious illness, serious complications, hospitalization, and death. If you have COVID, the likelihood that you catch it again is remarkably slim, according to medical data. There are a handful of cases, and I do mean a handful when you talk about a country of 330 million, where someone had been reinfected again with COVID, and typically it's you get the original COVID, however that affects you, it affects you. Then you'd get, like, Delta, or there were some other variants that Fauci mentioned mid last year. Mu was one of them. But you'd get Delta or Omicron, and yes, you'd have COVID, yes, you'd be sick, but it wasn't anywhere near what the original infection was. And a lot of times it's like, oh, I've got the sniffles, and your job requires you to go get tested for COVID. Oh, what do you know? I have COVID again. Okay. Sister-in-law has worked in the medical field for a number of years, and that's kind of been the case with her and her co-workers and her friends. Is, they've got to produce a test every so often, especially in close contact, and they don't even know they're sick, and they get put off of work. I said all that to say this. I think that as a society, we have gotten people so paranoid about COVID that with the Omicron variant being what it is, thank God, that it's not nearly as serious of an illness to catch by the numbers. I don't think that they're ready to let go of the Alpha and Delta variant levels of fear, even though if you catch Omicron, you're very likely to just be fine. Very likely. You know, I've harped on this a couple other times, and I'll say it again. I remember when, you know, if you had a bug, and this is even at my job, which we've taken COVID very seriously, but, you know, if you had a bug, you bring yourself into work and just, you know, don't cough on people. That was the preventative measures. That was it. So, those that were more germophobic than I, bear in mind, dog job, you got to wear some sort of a glove, and they got like rubbery coating on them so you can grip stuff. You know, all working with your hands all day, and you're working with metal parts. So you wear gloves. They've got a rubbery coating on them. Like someone would come in and touch something behind me, they'd bring like a alcohol wipe or something. You know, people keep all sorts of stuff handy in there, so like an alcohol wipe, and just wipe it down real quick, and that'd be it. I'd be walking around maskless. There were multiple times in my first year at work, before I had any personal time available to me, where I would have to pick up a bottle of Robitussin and a half a gallon of orange juice, throw it in my cooler, go to work, and just suffer through the night. And I've done it. First year at work, you don't get personal time after 90 days. The way it used to be, you could kind of call in if you needed to. And, you know, realistically, at the time, if I had known some of the things that I know now, I probably would have went ahead and called in. But I didn't. And, you know, I kept good attendance, so, you know, I built all the trucks that were assigned to my crew the first year I was there, with the exception of 2 days that my daughter was, the day that my wife went into labor with my youngest, and the day that my wife and I brought our youngest home, because my wife was on, or coming off of all the epidural and everything else that they had her on, and she was in no mental or physical condition to leave at home with our youngest, much less all the rest of the kids. So, just, I don't know, very, very interesting to me, the way that people have taken this. Now, that said, if you have serious underlying conditions, you should still be worried about COVID, especially if you're not vaccinated. You know, I think that you should talk with your doctor and, you know, listen to a medical opinion or two that knows your medical history to make your decision on vaccination. I'm not giving out vaccine advice. I'm not a doctor. I am vaccinated. I got vaccinated in August of 21. I doubt I'm going to get the booster, but that's just me. You know, but if I keep going, I'm going to end up saying something that's going to get this video removed, so that's what I got to say. I just wonder how much mental damage or mental paranoia we've instilled in people about COVID, especially considering what it's become versus what it was. That's what I got, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Catch y'all next time.